Good morning. My name is Robert Logan. I'm the fire chief for the city of San Diego. This morning at approximately 3:47 a.m., we received a call of an airplane down. At that time, we responded our units with the priority of rescue, saving lives, and preserving property. Next, I'm going to have my Assistant Chief, Dan Eddy, come up and explain the operations that took place moving forward from that point.
Morning, everyone. Crews arrived on scene just after 3:47, about 3:55 this morning. What they found was behind you, the scene that you see behind me right now. We had a plane that had come through this neighborhood, taken out one home. We had one home on fire, multiple cars on fire going down the street. We initiated what's called an Alert 5, which is an upgraded for a plane off the runway. We started the Alert 5, followed that with a second alarm to ensure we had all the units here. It's 3:45 in the morning. Our worry was the fact that people are home, people are living in their houses, and we want to ensure that we had all that done. We started initiating the fire attack while at the same time going inside each structure behind us and ensuring that they were cleared out and we had no one inside those structures. Once we had an all clear on those structures, we focused more back into the street on the cars that were on fire, because for us, our main concern is ensuring that we get the citizens out and get those rescues complete. Crews did a great job working with San Diego PD to start evacuating the neighborhood and with the military to ensure that we are doing the right things to work with the military on that. Great coordination by all. We were able to get knocked down on the fire, start to work through and start to do secondary searches of the houses behind us and ensuring that everyone was out of those areas. We started an evacuation area to the north of us to one of the elementary schools and started to ensure that we had everyone out of those homes. After that was done, we started our recovery effort, which you see behind us. We're holding the scene for FAA and TSB to ensure that they can get the investigation done and no evidence is tampered with or moved at all. Once that is complete and their investigation is done, then we'll start moving back through and working with the military and San Diego PD to clear out the neighborhood and ensure that everything is complete. I'm going to pass it over to San Diego PD right now, Lieutenant Easter.
Hello. We received the phone call or the incident, and our officers, we responded and conducted evacuations in this area. Right now, this is still an active scene. So roads are closed. If you're looking for updates, monitor our social media accounts, X, Facebook, Instagram. We will continue to provide updates on road closures and the conditions as this incident continues. On that note, I'm going to pass it on to Captain Robert Healy.
Spell your name, sir, before you go, please.
Easter, like the holiday.
Hey, good morning. Captain Bob Healy, Naval Base San Diego Commanding Officer. Our primary objective remains the safety and security of our military families who live here in this neighborhood. Over the last couple hours, we've been able to connect with them to make sure that they are taken care of, and most of them have gone down to Miller Elementary, which is our evacuation site. Very pleased with the community response, in addition to the city and local officials, to provide all of the services that they need. Primarily, our job is to get them back into their homes as soon as possible. And we're working with Liberty Military Housing, who oversees this complex, to do just that. Hopefully, we expect people outside of this general area to get in by tonight. And then certainly this area will be down for some time based on NTSB investigation. We have continued to communicate through our Family Information Call Center at 844-523-2025. Liberty Military Housing has also released red flag messages to the families so they have the latest and greatest information. The base continues to message via our internal communication system as well as social media. Again, just want to thank the local community for supporting the military families and everyone for all that you've done. With that, I want to turn it over to Councilmember Capillo.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Raul Campillo. I represent City Council District 7, which includes the Tierra Santa neighborhood and Murphy Canyon neighborhood. San Diego is home to one of the largest installments of United States military active service members and veterans. And in this particular neighborhood, we had dozens of active duty families that are suffering, that suffered some injuries, and their homes have been destroyed. But the city of San Diego, our employees, along with the military and the school district, have been well coordinated from the early morning until now, and we will be throughout the rest of this tragedy. With the very sad loss of life from the plane, we know that there was many miracles and many heroic actions from our police department, from our firefighters and the military members themselves. I heard stories over at the school just near us about military families helping military families out of their home, jumping out of windows, avoiding fire. These are families that San Diego values, we're proud of, and we're going to continue to support these military families who are from all over the country but live right here in San Diego. As you can see, the damage behind us is incredibly significant, was life-threatening, and thank God nobody on the ground was killed. We're going to continue to support them through our City of San Diego personnel, our first responders, and I really encourage people to donate, to call in to our offices at City Council, the Mayor's office, to find out how to volunteer and help in ways like that. These people are going to be recovering for a long, long time, and the City of San Diego is going to be here to support them. Thank you for being here, and I know we're going to take some questions.
Okay, just a few questions.
Yes, I have a question regarding the recent tweet from the San Diego Police Department. It says that there are 2 dead now and 8 injured. Can you confirm that? And are the 2 dead from the plane?
At least.
So that is what we have at this time. That's what we release. And yes, that's why we put that out. So that can be confirmed at this time. That is the latest update. There will be a press release that will come out later on with that information as well.
Can you say that again? Can you hear her? Can you say it?
So to confirm 2 dead at this time. And what was the rest of that?
And I'm sorry, 8 injured?
Yes, confirmed 2 dead and 8 injured at this time. We've lost 2 souls.
And of those, who was on the plane, who was on the ground?
That is still under the investigation at this time.
Do you know how many people were on the plane?
We're still discovering that.
And the people are injured. What are the state of these people are injured? Critical state, minor injuries.
Right now, they're still being evaluated.
I can step in on that.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
On the injuries that we had the 2 confirmed fatalities right now. We do have 6 that were injured. 1 was transported of the 6. The other 5 had minor injuries, were treated on scene and released on their own. So right now, that's what we have right now. The investigation is behind me. On the fatalities is still going through.
Were all the deaths on the plane?
At this time, we don't know because we still have to identify who we have on the fatalities right now. But on the plane itself, that's what we'll do. That's why NTSB is here, working with other federal agencies to identify who's on the plane.
Did you say one
Were on the ground?
Some of the injuries were people that were on the ground. All the injuries that we treated were people that were treated at the evacuation center. There was no one transported from scene. I can tell you this, the military families did a phenomenal job as firefighters were getting on scene to help one another, get people out of houses and go, and I cannot commend them enough for what they did on scene. For us on scene, we did not transport anyone off the scene. Everything was done at the evacuation centers for any of the medical needs that were done.
Can I just clarify?
1 person was transported, minor injuries was transported from the evacuation center.
So, sorry, can I just clarify on the numbers real quick? Because we have, like you said, 2 dead, and then there's been varying numbers with the injured. So
yeah.
If I understand it, it's 5 people were taken for, I was told, smoke inhalation to the hospital, and then we have someone who was injured climbing out of a window. So that would be 6, and then 2 people treated for very minor injuries at the scene. So that would make it 8. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm sorry. It is 8 total. I was thinking 8 in my mind of the 2 fatalities that were in there with the other one. So yes, it is 8 total on there.
Sir, for those of us that are out of town, can you explain to us a little bit about the community here? Is this temporary housing for the military families, or is this permanent housing for them?
So this is permanent. Yeah, if you want to say what they are.
Yeah, great question. So this is a military family housing neighborhood, and we have over about 2,300 family homes that are here in San Diego, and they work at various installations around the Metro San Diego region.
Temporary housing for them, or
Well, they are here as long as they're stationed here in the San Diego area, so it could be a year to many years.
Can we get confirmation on those numbers again, like to have it accurate and how it is, because the agencies got mixed up?
So how about this? What number did you just say right there?
Well, I don't want to.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. That's okay. All right. So we had 8 injuries and we had 2 fatalities is where we're currently at right now. So 8 injured, 2 fatalities. 1 of those injuries was transported. That's our current numbers. We're still assessing. Our main goal as the fire department, especially with the evacuation center, as people who moved here, it could be hours later that people start feeling symptoms or start feeling what they're doing. So we have EMS teams with them the entire time. So that number could change as the day goes on too. There could have been something in the last 2 minutes as I walked up here. But in this current point right now, what we're going to do is follow those individuals that have been evacuated and make sure that everybody's okay about the whole thing.
Where's the NTSB here? Do you know?
The NTSB, I believe, is en route right now. FAA is currently investigating behind us right now as they're walking through the scene.
How many homes were destroyed? How many homes were actually destroyed?
So the one permanently destroyed is this one right here behind us. We have damage to multiple homes down to the west of us on the street. That damage will be assessed. Our main concern on that damage, I don't know the full extent of the damage because our job is to preserve the scene so NTSB can come in and do the investigation. We removed everybody from the scene, blocked it off right now. We will have better numbers on the full damage of homes after NTSB comes in and starts doing their investigation. It is just this block right now, but we have a large debris field that covers multiple streets.
There was dense fog this morning. What do we know? There's a clipped power line that's being reported. What do we know as this plane was landing toward Montgomery?
So as I came in this morning, when I came in this morning at about 4 o'clock, there was very dense fog as we came in. And some of the individuals are here were the same time. It was dense fog throughout the whole plateau that we had up here. We do have a clipped power line behind us. NTSB and FAA are looking into that to see if that was part of the problem as it came in. They will have a better understanding of that as they do the investigation.
Where are these military families going to be staying in the meantime? I know that you guys had mentioned they might be able to come back as early as today, but where are they going to be staying, especially in this destroyed home?
Yeah, we are actively working with all military families affected, specifically within this region, because they may be out of their homes for a while. So we're actively collaborating with Liberty Military Housing, as well as the Red Cross and others down at Miller Elementary to put them in proper lodging overnight. So that may be hotels. Some of them have chosen to stay with family and friends, so there's a lot of different options. But we will ensure that they have proper lodging tonight and all the support they need.
And the Navy will be footing that bill for them, or Liberty Housing?
We will properly care for them. Yes, ma'am.
Is this Navy-owned property, or is that correct to say?
No, it's San Diego jurisdiction here.
Okay, so it's Navy-owned housing.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
What have you learned about the airplane? There was a lot of talk. It was from the Midwest. Can you share what you've learned about the plane itself and possibly the people aboard?
No, all we had was that it was launched out of the Midwest and was here for San Diego. The FAA or NTSB might have more factual information. I don't have a wing number or any of those other things that are on there. What we know is it was launched from the Midwest, was en route to here, and then we got the call at 3:45 in the morning.
How many
Was Montgomery Field closed at that time? I mean, Air Tower controlled?
Air Tower was controlled, but they have the ability to come in with it being closed by being able to radio in and open up the lights on the runway.
How many passengers
There
were
was
in the
a
plane?
report that the weather system was not working, and the air traffic control told the pilot coming in that it wasn't working. Have you heard that? Do you know anything about that?
I know nothing about that. I know the rescue side of it, and we came through. Hopefully FAA or NTSB will have that answer for you.
Do you believe that anybody on the plane survived?
I don't know on that point right now. I can tell if you look behind me right now, I don't know on that point, but no, I don't believe so.
How many passengers there were?
so
No, I don't.
How many passengers are from this house?
Any of the injured are from this house behind. I can't really say if they're injured from this house behind. I have to keep that private.
Were all of the homes occupied?
I believe all the homes were occupied. We did searches of every single home as we came through. This military housing area that is here is constantly occupied all the time. It's a very busy area, but I believe all of them were occupied.
How many passengers were in the plane?
We don't know how many passengers.
I don't know. If you look at the plane, the path that it took behind me here, you can see that its trajectory came through this direction, took out the front of that house, and it ended up here to the right behind me.
When I walked around, I didn't find any big body of the plane. I saw like a little bit of fiberglass over there on Santos Street, and then of course this panel out here. But is there any other part of the plane that what parts of the plane are still out here?
There's plane everywhere. Our debris field is very large. That's why we have multiple blocks that are blocked off right now. As you guys would expect, when you have something that large coming in with that amount of speed, we're going to have a lot of throw that goes every which direction. Our goal with this is to fly our UAS, which you saw, which are unmanned aerials, over the top, to ensure we're looking over the tops of the houses. We're looking everywhere in our neighborhood for any type of debris. I can't give you a field because we're still searching ourselves to find out what that footprint is.
So you don't know if there's a big part of the body that's out there somewhere?
That's not for my investigation. We're just looking through it and seeing.
Chief, can you tell us how dangerous it was with that jet fuel? And also, I believe you have one vehicle that firefighters couldn't put out. I don't know if that was an electrical vehicle. Can you just tell us the challenges you faced
Yeah, so challenges on scene like this are just like anything else. They're incredibly dynamic, right? As we're coming in, we have a plane that has crashed into a residential area. So our goal on this is we treat this a lot like a wildfire. We're going to division it off. We're going to section it off. We're going to send multiple units to different areas. We're actually going to throw the world at this too. We're going to bring every medical unit that we can and every engine that we can because we want to ensure the safety of the citizens that are here, right? When crews first got on scene, we had multiple cars on fire. We had the house on fire behind us as it was going down the street. The car that was down the left, I don't know whether it was an electrical car or not. I just know that it was stubborn as can be, and no matter what we could do, we could not get that fire to finally go out as we were going through it. But when crews first arrived, we did have dense fog, so as they came down, you can imagine the scene of what they saw with what was behind them, a house fully involved with a plane through the middle of the street. So it was, I commend the crews, I commend the fire department, the police department, the military that came out here, the citizens themselves too, because anybody, it's tragic to see that behind you. Whether you're involved in it, and I feel for the people that are in the plane that had that were a part of this, but whether you're involved in it or not, just normal citizens that are here, they're going to remember this the rest of their lives. But they did what they always do. The citizens of San Diego are amazing. They came out and covered for one another and took care of one another.
How many families were evacuated?
I don't know how many families were evacuated right now. We can get you that number lately.
Can you describe what it was like for first responders when they first got here, and what was their priority as soon as they got to scene?
So our main goal when we are on scene is life. We want to save life, right? So first crews that got on scene and the engines that got on scene found the house on the corner that was on fire, immediately started to search that house and knock down on that house because they know that that's our top priority as we go through to see if someone's in there. Our goal was to get through every single house that we could and search them to make sure that everybody was out. Once we were confident in every single one of those houses being cleared, then we focused back into the middle of the street and started focusing on the cars, property, right? Life is our number one priority, so we're going to go for those first and ensure that we have any sort of rescues that we need to initiate and get them out. Those crews did that with multiple units down both sides of the street, and then you never know. We could have stuff thrown in both directions, and as we go through those directions, we put multiple engines and trucks down our side streets to search those streets too.
Was that home occupied?
The home was occupied at the time,
Do you
yes.
know how many people were in there?
No, I don't.
And what happened? And what did you hear about how they got out?
So what I heard is just like anything. It was, for me, it's a little bit of a miracle, right? A plane hits your house. I don't know exactly how they got out, but I do know that neighbors helped them get out, and that's the beauty of what I love in this neighborhood too. And military
Was
looking out for one another. They did exactly what they did to try to help each other.
it a family?
I believe so.
And that this is a military community.
Yeah.
Crucial is the fact that they're trained for emergencies. They're trained for complicated things. Do you think that played a role in making sure that they were helping each other and making sure that everybody was safe?
I think it absolutely does. I think any sort of that background that you have behind you, right, to help you stay calm in a stressful situation, just like the military, just like San Diego PD or any other public safety that's out there, I think it helped. And so as we came into this neighborhood, you could see that. You could see the love for one another in this neighborhood.
When you say it was a family, do you know if there were children in this home?
No, I don't.
Can you confirm the time of the impact again?
We got the first call at 3:47 a.m. is when the first call came into our dispatch center.
I have two questions. Does it appear that the plane hit the house actually or clipped it or something?
No, that'll be for NTSB to decide when they get here and see if it actually hit the house or not. That's not for us to investigate on it. When my crews first got on scene, they did a great job to just attack the fire and get after it.
And did you guys see when you're on scene that the jet fuel, was it in flames just rolling down the street as the cars ignited?
I can tell you when I got on scene, you could see about 40 feet to 50 feet ahead of you. So if it's rolling down the street, I don't know whether it was rolling down the street. What I do know is when I got here, I saw multiple cars on fire, and that area was just getting knocked down by our crews.
Is there any timetable of when we could hear from the FAA? Because we've been here since early this morning, and we heard that they would come to speak with us sometime soon. But now we're in our third press briefing, and we still haven't heard from them.
I don't. Not for me to say. I don't know. I do tell you this much behind me that they are investigating behind, and I will try to get someone back here. We'll work with our PIO to get someone back here for you.
When do you think it would be safe for people to come back given the strong smell?
We did have a clipped power line off our main line out there. We still have good power from SDG&E has ensured us that we still have proper power running through the area through here. But yes, it was a main line that was hit.
Approximately how many houses were evacuated? Just a number?
I don't know. I don't know on that time. It was multiple. We evacuated everything south of here. Every single house south was evacuated. 2 blocks west was evacuated all the way to the 15, and 1 block north was evacuated to us. For us, we wanted to make sure that we had everybody out, so if anything did start to grow or anything changed, that everybody was out of their houses.
Someone described it like a movie when they arrived. Can you kind of give us a description of what it felt like, smelled like? It's not Hollywood.
You smell this? You smell this right behind me right now? What you smell right now of that burning, that's what you're coming into. You smell that off-gassing as it's coming here with the sun and everything starting to push up. It's, for us, for public safety, we're used to that smell, right? We're used to those types of things that are out there. For the public, I'm sure it was. If you only look 50 feet behind me, your mind would start thinking of things anyway. So imagine that when it was actually occurring. Yes, it was chaotic.
This is not the first time that we have a plane crash. Compared to the other ones that had been more to eastward, and this being in a community, I mean, how do you rank it? You know?
I can't rank. I won't rank anything. What I will say is the amount of incredible work that is done by first responders that come out here, whether it be a plane that's out in the middle of nowhere, whether we have brush fires or anything else. I can't rank a plane crash, because to me that's my heart couldn't let me do that, right? Type thing. What I do know is that when we came out of here, the best outcome that we had for individuals that are on the ground, I feel for the family that is in that plane and what they're going through right now. I can only imagine that. But on the ground itself and the individuals here in military housing, we had one of the best outcomes that I could possibly say that came from this, because when I was coming on scene, I did not expect that same outcome as I got here.
We have been listening to a press conference out of San Diego where that plane crash happened this morning in a military neighborhood. I think that fire official said it best. This could have been so much worse. There are 8 people who were injured. One was taken from the evacuation center and transported to the hospital. But other than that, everyone on the ground is okay. There have been 2 fatalities, though. They do believe that those were people inside the plane. When pressed to find out if there were others who potentially had lost their lives inside the plane, they said it's still just too early to know. But one of the major factors, I think, that came out of this is that a main power line was hit. And I want to bring in Assignment Manager Mark Liu from the desk. And Mark, your and my ears both perked up with that. You have been able to track some data and find out a little bit more about what that could mean.
Yeah, that was one of the 2 really important things that I heard in that news conference, that main power line. In just a second, I'm going to show you on a map why that might be really important to the FAA and the NTSB in this investigation. And the other is about that fuel. Now let's go first to the map here, and I'm going to show you, this is the radar log of that flight, that Cessna 550, or Cessna Citation 2 as it's called, took off out of Wichita this morning. And you can see the radar log shows that it passed west across the United States, and I'm going to zoom in at the last radar position here. As it comes in, you look at the bottom of your screen, you're going to see right here, you can see it stops. And this is the neighborhood where the plane went down in. This is Montgomery Field. Very likely the plane was on approach. But when that firefighter talked about a main line that had come down, I'm going to zoom in really, really close here. And I want you to pay attention. See if you can see that. Right here on the left side of your screen, look at that. Those are 2 very tall power lines directly on the path of this plane. And right here, the last radar altitude of this plane is listed at 500 feet. Very likely low enough to possibly have hit these 2 towers. Now, this radar log is not perfectly exact, but you can see if it did indeed hit these towers and end up, the plane crashed right here in this neighborhood. So the NTSB and the FAA, they're going to be looking very closely at that. And I want to also show you some video of the fire in the neighborhood. You see this line of fire going down the street. This video was shot just minutes after the plane crashed, and that, we believe, is jet fuel. That firefighter discussed a river of jet fuel going down the street, lighting on fire and taking out, quote, every single one of the cars on that street. You can see people running out of the homes. They said these were military families. There's a great number of military families in this neighborhood of Murphy Canyon there in San Diego. And Jamie, you had mentioned 8 injured. Most of them came from the evacuation center, but 2 dead, very likely from the plane. This is video of the wreckage of what's left of that Cessna Citation 2 that looked like an engine and possibly part of the fuselage. Multiple cars destroyed. 1 home described as being destroyed, very likely unable to be occupied again. Several other homes damaged as well due to this plane crash. Very large debris field, Jamie. The FAA already on scene doing their investigation. The NTSB right behind them on the road getting ready to do their investigation as well. 2 of the elementary schools are closed today, not because they had any damage, just because they were very close to this. One was being used as an evac center, but still a lot to learn from the FAA and the NTSB as they continue their investigation into this plane crash.
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, it's such a dynamic scene, right? It's been going on since about 3:45 this morning when that plane did crash. I think what you and I were talking about when the minute we heard about this and we started seeing the pictures coming in was just how big the debris field was, Mark. And it would make sense to me if this is a main power line, it hits that. And as you say, with that jet fuel going down the street, just the amount of debris that would come off of the plane and how many locations it could end up hitting, it now makes sense if that is in fact what happened.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge amount of wreckage. The NTSB has a huge scene to investigate to try and get this all done.
All right, Mark Liu, thank you so much.